Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Last year we checked out the Hohem iSteady X, which was a super convenient mini gimbal for smartphones. If you're not aware, gimbals can really improve the video recording performance of any smartphone because it's a truly mechanical system. As you are moving along, it tries to stabilize and move itself in the opposite direction, resulting in, as you are kind of creating panning shots, it just becomes super smooth. Well, now the company is back with an upgraded model this year called the Hohem iSteady V2. It's now being called an AI smartphone gimbal just because it now adds a camera on the very top with its LED flash that's not used to actually record any video footage, but rather this camera, which is pointing at you, has onboard facial recognition. For example, I can put this gimbal onto a desk and it can be just always hunting for me. I can move around in the room and it will still kind of move its motors as well to continuously track me. So you don't really necessarily even have to get a friend or a photographer to record you. Gesture control, so you can also do things like lift up your palm for it to stop tracking you, things like that. Also acts as an emergency power bank. This is a universal gimbal, so any smartphone, whether it's an iPhone, Android, or Galaxy device, will all be compatible. And even with phablets these days, it really won't have an issue. If you have a foldable phone like the Galaxy Fold, you have to really close up the fold for it to still function because it's not going to stretch to accommodate a tablet in terms of width, but any phone up to 6.5 inches really shouldn't have any issues here. On a full charge, it claims to work up to 9 hours of tracking and stabilization. So the packaging contents, you get a soft carrying pouch, quick user guide, and of course there is the gimbal itself along with a mini tripod, which is optional. And there's just a USB Type-C cable for charging, which has an adapter that can be removed to access a Type-C to Type-C port. Now, to be completely honest, this auto AI tracking functionality has been a more recent trend that we've seen in a few other products from Ozbot, and some of those have included the Ozbot Tiny, this little webcam, which if you guys remember has auto tracking that is very similar, and even the Ozbot Me, which was their smart kind of selfie stick, offered similar capabilities. But it's great to see that now this capability has been added to other similar products like this competing gimbal. So not only does it track, but it also stabilizes when you need it to, which is just a kind of all-in-one product now, pretty much the new and improved, I would say. So anyways, the dimensions of the unit, as you can see here, is actually not really any taller than the previous generation Hohem iSteady. So in fact, it's not any different at all. Just from afar, we can see that extra camera sensor, but it doesn't take up additional kind of height, which is awesome. It's really crazy to see how far we've come. In fact, just 3 years ago, a standard gimbal for smartphones would look like this. This was the Smooth Q, I believe, and you can just tell how much bigger it is. In fact, this came with its own hard shell case, almost like a small backpack that you had to use to carry it around. And now all of these motorized components have been packed into something that is just much more compact and easy to take with you, which is a bigger deal than you would expect because as a traveler, you want to just carry as little as possible. And also, it just makes you feel less self-aware as you are holding it and shooting stuff. It doesn't look as funny as if you were holding something extra large in your hands. So I really do appreciate that, and quite lightweight as well. Now, in terms of build, it is made out of this soft touch and also kind of coarse plastic material. Doesn't feel cheap at all and has a nice grippy texture. We have a digital zoom controls on the side if you are paired to your phone using Bluetooth, but even this is optional. You can just pop it in and just begin to control it using the joystick, but you won't get the zoom capability until you connect. Otherwise, we have the aforementioned D-pad. There are a few LEDs that tell you the battery percentage, and if you're connected again using Bluetooth, you can also tap here to begin recording video or take an image, again if you are connected. And in order to unlock it, all you need to do is just basically twist on the side here, and then twist also on this knob as the second step. That will kind of make it looser and you're ready to go. Just pop in your phone onto this little holder, which is universal, and you're ready to go. The holder, by the way, just like before, is padded with a soft touch rubber material, so it doesn't scratch or damage your phone as you're popping it in there, and both sides again can be extended just by using this little lever design, working quite well. And we do have the aforementioned tracking camera there, that's the new part on the top, along with the LED light U-shaped ring, which is all controlled using this additional key there on the top. Simply tap on the power key here for 3 seconds, you'll see the lights there pop on, and all of a sudden the gimbal here will start to align itself, and it will just lock itself into place. The magic then begins, and by default you can see it's locked into this particular spot, so even as I am moving around and shaking it, the camera as it's recording will still be pointing in this one direction. Tapping on this key now once again, and that will lock and automatically switch. As you can see there, still is doing a good job of holding the phone into place, and the motion here works just fine. Now for our dedicated kind of camera sensor and also light there on the top, I can also turn that on there. Afterwards, we can start the tracking just by using the OK gesture as aforementioned, and it will now be tracking your face. So I can move now to the left, moving my face, it's following me, moving also to the right here, and it's continuing to track, as you can see there. So it is a pretty smooth process, and you can also move a little bit up. It will still pan and tilt upwards to see you, as well as move downwards, and you can see it's continuing to do that as well. So if you are recording footage, again, from the front-facing camera of your phone, it will be capturing all of that and follow you across the room, again, really without any problems. The technology here, again, being quite similar to what we saw from Ozbot. Turn on the light here. All we need to do is tap on the top key. If you are in darker environments, you can further increase the brightness. This is the second level, and then we also have the aforementioned third level, which is kind of the max brightness that you can use this for. Again, pretty handy since a lot of phones may not have a front-facing flash. Now the speed, of course, it's not going to be ultra fast, but it has to be kind of smoothened out in terms of the motion just to give you that more cinematic, overall smooth, buttery effect. You can also return the gimbal to the original position if you are further playing around with the settings just by double tapping on the power key. So tapping here twice, you can see that it will then return us to this original mode when it was first turned on. Alright, so as far as connectivity is concerned, once you have Bluetooth turned on your phone and you connect to the optional Home app, you can see that it's found the iSteady V2 here by default. That allows us to jump into a camera viewfinder from its own app, as well as tutorials specific for the V2 or the X2 and other models that you can watch to learn how to access the different features. We can also take a look at the battery percentage remaining of our gimbal as well as our smartphone, and I can just try and rotate the screen here, and you can see the orientation here can also flip. You also get some gesture controls, so the same thing can be said. You can use your hand to begin and stop recording video, but this is only through the app. And the digital zoom function should now be functional, so as I am pressing on the bottom of the gimbal there, you should see that the zoom here will be happening in real time. Arguably, the best part about their app is the additional special effects that the gimbal can produce. So we have an inception mode, which is rotating it either 180 or 270 degrees like this by itself to capture more cinematic footage. We have other effects as well, including dolly zoom, which it can achieve just by setting it into place, and it will do all of the spinning and action for you. Fantastic rotation. So some of these special effects we did see last year as well, as part of the same companion app that they're using, but these tricks can all be achieved as well, of course, on this newest model, just using the software that they have provided. And smart motion time-lapse that will record the sky for you. Let's try 270 degrees and tap on start, and basically we'll begin to record that video, and here is what it looks like. 3, 2, 1. After it begins to record, you can see that it will just spin itself, go into the other mode, and then slowly oscillate once again. Can be a pretty fun effect, as you can see there, just to create something a little more special than just purely pan and tilt or holding it in your hands. Advanced settings here allow you to change things like the mode that it's using, so you can have a pan and tilt follow, or you can have it to only kind of lock one direction or orientation, or follow you in all positions. So that is more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Hohem iSteady V2. As aforementioned, compared to last year's model, the performance is still quite similar in terms of the overall effectiveness, which is to say, still is excellent for a compact gimbal that is universal, works with any smartphone, and just very easy to snap in, ready to go, with a long battery life. With that being said, really the new thing here this year is going to be that auto tracking capability via that built-in camera that's pointing at you, via the offline AI engine. Granted, if you're someone that's primarily recording video of things on the other side, using the rear-facing camera that is, and you're primarily just standing behind the camera to record scenery and control things, then this function may not be kind of the most used or effective one out of the bunch. Then I would say if you are already an owner of last year's model, you don't necessarily have to upgrade. But if you're looking for this additional functionality and it's something that does sound useful, you are someone that is interested in vlogging in addition to capturing video from the other side, this is going to be more versatile. Definitely you can check out more details if you're interested, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the pretty clever and overall nicely performing super compact gimbal that has been the Hohem iSteady V2.